Okay, so you know how everyone thinks of February as the time to just like hunker down,
Yeah.
just kind of wait for spring?
Yeah, like hibernate a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in the real estate world, maybe we need to rethink that.
Mm.
At least that's what this real estate agent we heard from is saying. They're seeing a surprising amount of action.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
So today, let's deep dive into what this means for the housing market right now and what you should know if you're thinking of buying or selling anytime soon.
Sounds good.
Okay, so this agent is saying that their February is packed, like way more buyer appointments than you'd expect.
Hmm. See, that's what's so interesting here. You'd think with those higher interest rates that things would be slower, right? But this is kind of going against that whole idea. It makes you wonder what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So is this just something unique to this one agent's area, or could it be a sign of something bigger?
Right. Well, we have seen some reports of bidding wars starting up again in certain areas.
Mm.
So maybe some buyers are starting to figure out how to work with these higher rates.
So what does figuring it out actually look like for buyers?
Well, it could mean a few things. Maybe they're looking at smaller homes than they were before, or maybe different neighborhoods, or they're just factoring those higher mortgage rates into their offers. Like
Yeah.
it's a whole recalibration.
And get this, the agent even mentioned multiple offers coming in on some properties.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does that make you think we might be seeing a shift in the market, or is it too soon to tell?
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. Real estate is so local. What's happening in one city might be totally different in another, but multiple offers do suggest that something might be changing in how buyers are feeling. Could be that there's this pent-up demand from buyers who just sat out last year when rates were crazy high,
Right.
or maybe people are realizing that waiting for prices to totally tank might not actually be the best strategy.
Makes sense. One thing this agent really stresses is using data to help their clients, like those recent comparable sales. Just in case anyone listening isn't familiar with those are basically looking at what similar homes in the area have sold for recently.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So you can kind of get a sense of what your home might be worth.
Right. And it helps both sides, right?
Mhm.
Sellers can set a realistic price and buyers can make a fair offer.
Exactly.
So this agent asks a really interesting question. They say, could adjusting your timeline help you maximize value when selling?
Oh, that is a good question.
Yeah. And it made me think about those multiple offers we were just talking about. Like, is there a connection there, do you think?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, if you're thinking of selling in the next couple of years, it's worth thinking about whether selling sooner rather than later might actually be the smart move. Like, we know there aren't a ton of houses for sale in a lot of areas, right? Low inventory, as they say.
Right.
So you combine that with these hints that buyers are getting more active, and it could really work in a seller's favor, especially if they're strategic about things like pricing and getting their home ready to show.
So it's not just about rushing to sell, but about timing things right.
Exactly. And that's where a good real estate agent can really make a difference. They can help you figure out what's happening in your market, what your home is worth, and the best time to list it.
I guess it's kind of like a balancing act, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you want to sell strategically, but you don't want to miss out on potential gains if prices keep going up. What are some of the big things people should consider when making this decision?
Well, first off, it's their own personal situation and what they're hoping to achieve financially, right? Are they moving for a job, need more space for a growing family, maybe downsizing for retirement? All of those things are going to play a big part.
Right, of course.
Then you've got to think about what's going on in their local market. Are prices going up or down? Are more or fewer homes coming on the market? Are there lots of buyers looking in their price range? All those details really matter.
So even with these high interest rates, there could still be good opportunities out
Yeah.
there, but you really got to know your local market.
Exactly. And that brings up a really interesting question for all of you listening. If you were thinking of selling in the next few years, what would be the most important factors for you in deciding whether to speed up your timeline? Think about your personal goals, your financial situation, and what's happening with real estate where you live. It's a big decision with a lot to consider, so the more prepared you are, the better.